For my accessibility case study, I thought of introducing a friend of mine who was diagnosed as a child with macular degeneration, but she still leads a normal life. This is Josie. She still functions quite well in society and does everything you and I would do on a daily basis. She's just had to adapt in a slightly different. I asked Josie when I was interviewing her when she was diagnosed with her condition and what life has been like with her diagnosis.
When I was 13 years old, I was diagnosed with macular degeneration, specifically cone dystrophy. I was diagnosed at the Casey Eye Institute in Portland, Oregon. And before I was diagnosed, I was noticing an increase. My vision was decreasing very quickly, and I had gone to the eye doctor several times. I've had glasses since I was 5 years old, so my vision hasn't ever been great, but I noticed this very quickly progression as I was going through puberty, and so we ended up going to the Casey Eye Institute, where I was then diagnosed with macular degeneration. I've noticed as I've become an adult that it has slowed the progression down substantially, but in college, when I was using my eyes a lot, it did cause some deterioration. So
I knew being visually impaired couldn't be the easiest thing to live with, so I was curious as to what a typical day in her life was like.
as far as a typical day goes, it's basically just the same as your typical day. But however, some differences in college, I did have to do a few things differently. I was a violin performance major, and I couldn't see the music, so I did have to do a few different things. For example, one of my classes was a sight singing class where we had to sight read music in class and solfege. I had to come prepared beforehand and have everything memorized that would be doing that day in class. And so I defeated the purpose of the class, but I did have to memorize things beforehand. I did that with a lot of my classes. Or also, I had people transcribe, so I would verbally tell them what to write down, and then they would transcribe the notes for me for an assignment.
I knew that having any visual impairment can bring challenges to daily life, so I asked her, since I knew that she herself has had to face some challenges having macular degeneration, what kind of challenges she faces daily.
As far as challenges go, school was always very difficult. I had to have assistive technology. I have bioptic lenses that I use to read, or I would also enlarge my music or blow up the text so that I could see it easier without straining my eyes looking at a field of view that was a lot smaller looking through the bioptic lenses. Um, it was challenging as far as a musician. I don't see the music, but I was able to memorize music by listening to recordings of the music. So I would be able to hone my sense of hearing, and I was able to listen to the music and then hear what string, what position was being played. So in a sense, I did gain a new skill as far as being able to memorize music by listening to recordings, and that was very beneficial to me as a musician, but definitely challenging.
Since Josie has had this condition, that she definitely had used some assistive technologies, but I was also curious to see what other technologies she had used to help with her impairment. I had researched into it's a technology called bioptic lenses, which essentially is like a telescope lens that sits above your glasses that you can look into to see upcoming road signs as you drive. Right, so I was curious to see if she had heard about this and thought about using them, and I was really surprised to know that she had already been using them among other assistive technologies as well.
As far as assistive technology goes, I do have bioptic lenses that I use to read textbooks. They look like this. You can adjust them so that you can focus either in or out. I used this originally when I first started to drive to see the street signs, but I've actually found it more helpful to use the navigation system on your phone and just have it on audio so that I can verbally be told where to turn as opposed to seeing a very small field of view. I also use Braille as well and know that technology and don't use it as much now because I do have my bioptics, but I will be using that much more in the future.
And Josie, I found it very interesting that of all the assistive technologies for the visually impaired that are out there, her most trusted and effective one is the GPS on her phone. My convenience is her necessity, and in spite of having this visual impairment, you have never known she even had one disability unless you had asked her. I'd be very interested to see what things will be like for her if things have changed in the coming years and see what other technologies she's using, as well as if her condition has even worsened. So it will be interesting to see what things look like in the future.